Hi everybody, it's Diane. I am going to talk to you today about how I'm going to create the spines and the covers for these three lovely lady books that I've been working on. I have the signatures all done and I'm so excited about that. I said I was going to take my time making these, but once I really got going on them and knew what I was doing, I was excited to get them finished, so I just kept working on them. I spent pretty much all day today finishing the signatures. And now I am ready to start working on the covers. Well, I did start a little bit already, but I thought you'd be interested in seeing how I will do these. I'm going to do a couple different versions of covers and spines because of the condition of the spines. So this one I'm going to have to create a new spine because this was in bad shape. I couldn't keep it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do this one the same as that one, but we're going to start with this one. Normally I remove the spine and make a new spine, but these spines were wide enough and I liked this one, the design on it. So like normally I do a 2-inch spine. This is 1.5 inches, so it's just a little bit, and I don't have all of the cards and things in it, so it might be a little more alligator mouth than I normally do, but it won't be bad. So we're going to go ahead and keep the spine, and the fabric was worn so that you could see right through it, right here. But I have reinforced it already so you can't see through it anymore. And the ends of the spine are very tattered, and I left them that way because I like how it makes the book look its age. And you can see the discoloration on the spine. It has a variety of colors from the way it aged, and I just think it's gorgeous. I may put some book corners on it because it is a little bit soft. But isn't that a pretty cover? So this book is called, this journal will be called Marcia, because that's her name, Marcia Drayton, or Marcia. It might be pronounced Marcia when it's spelled like that. So what I have done, and I can't divulge everything because some of it I learned from Nick's course, Nick the Booksmith, on her rounded hollow back spine, but I am diverging from her technique, and I took something of what I learned from her, but I'm going my own way with it. So I can tell you that I just laid Tyvek down across it to reinforce the spine. That's what's going to prevent this from breaking apart. I did create this cardboard piece according to her technique to give it the rounded back, so I'm not going to talk about that, but I then took another piece of chipboard and glued this muslin to it and made it wide enough so that it will extend onto the book cover, and then I just put some dark scrapbook paper on the back. So I'm kind of winging it. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out or anything, so that's why I'm not sure if I'm going to do that other book cover the same way. I have to see how this one turns out. So what I'm going to do at this stage, and what I will do is take these three signatures and sew them to this, and then I will glue this to the book cover. So you won't see any stitching here. So in order for me to know where to sew them, where to make my holes, and where to put my stitches, I took my template, and I have done these templates before in tutorials on how I make book covers. So I cut it to 1.5 inches and the height of the pages, which is 7 inches. So I center it on my spine piece. I mark my holes where I want them. I have 3 signatures, and I've done this before. I'll show you quickly. I fold it in half. Since it's an odd number of signatures, I can do it this way. I fold it in half. That gives me the center point. Fold it in half this way. So that's my center hole right there. Then I can fold it this way. So both ends fold into the center, and that gives me the 3 stitching lines. And then I take my centering ruler and mark from the center point. I marked 1.5 inches and 3 inches on all the lines. And that gives me a 5-hole pamphlet stitch marking for 3 signatures. And I've already taken this tool and punched holes in my template. So now I can just take make sure I get through the hole, because that hole wasn't quite big enough. Gotta line it up, and then I just touch my marker through the hole so that there's a mark on my spine. Okay, I can see all the holes, all the marks. You probably can't see them very well, which is good. So then I'll take this tool again and punch through all of those holes. And I will take this signature and lay this like the center of this down in the center of the spine. Make sure everything's lined up the way I want it, and punch holes in that. And then I can take it and sew it to this. I'm not going to do that on camera. I've done it before. I can link a video of sewing the signatures in. I use this cord, which I get at Walmart. It's waxed cord, and it's not as waxy as the cords you can get at the craft stores. And these are easier for me to use. So I like them. So I will be sewing these signatures to this, and then I will come back and glue these flaps to the book covers. And then I will take these papers that I've already cut. I may have to cut more because I think they're a little short. I have another paper, another page of this paper. Yeah, I think I want it to be a little bit wider, but it is a pretty page. So I'll glue these on, and there we will have our cover. Okay, so now I want to move on to the other journal, but I had to take the spine off. So this spine was already halfway off. There was no saving it. No reinforcement would have helped. So I just took it off. And I'll take this part off. And I'm going to tear this off because I'm going to cover it anyway. And I don't want loose paper. And I try to get the edge as clean as I can. This is loose. I'm just going to glue that down if I can pick it up. So this cover was in worse shape than the other ones. So this book is called Half a Rogue, but the journal I'm calling Patty because one of the illustrations of the woman that's pictured here was captioned Patty something. So her name's Patty. So I already cut my spine, and I think I cut it just a little bit bigger. It's 1 3/4 instead of 1 1/2. I figured since I had to create a new spine, I might as well make it so it wasn't quite such a tight fit. So I have 1 1/2 inches plus the height, and by the height of the book, and I have a piece of Tyvek that is cut to the right size so that I can put the cover all together. And then I have this piece of fabric that I just got from the Walmart remnant bin. I haven't been getting Walmart fabrics. Their bin is usually empty, or it has a piece of something that I don't want, but I liked that, and I'm glad I grabbed it because it is just perfect for this cover. So that's what we're going to work with. I'm going to take my red line tape, which I normally buy at the craft stores, but I haven't been able to go to the craft stores, and this is what I found online. Home Hobby. I found it at Amazon, and I ordered an 1/8 inch by mistake. 3 of them. So I was using them, and then I placed another order for a 1/4 inch, but I'll use the 1/8 inch. I have to, because I don't want to spend the money on tape that I don't use. So it's 1/4 inch red line tape, and like I said, that's Home Hobby from Amazon, but I normally buy it from Michael's Hobby Lobby, and sometimes you can find it at Joann's. It's a little hard to find it there. They're usually out, but they each carry a different brand, but it works all the same. Some of them are big spools like this, and some of them have a smaller ring, but they all have the same amount. These have more. These have 32, almost 33 feet. And the other ones that I buy, so it's almost 10 yards. The ones I buy, I think, are 3 yards or 5 yards. I don't remember now. So anyway, that's what I like to use because it has a very strong adhesive. So I use it for certain things like putting covers together. So I have that edge done, and all around the spine, and I'll do this edge. When you get down to the chipboard instead of paper, it's a little more tricky because it wants to pull the chipboard layer up. So I'm going to burnish it down real good. Especially old chipboard like that. It won't be such a problem with this piece. And this is on paper, so this will be easier. So you want to pull up the red backing, but not the adhesive part. And sometimes it's hard to not get, see right there, I just was pulling up the adhesive. So it's pulling up the paper with it. So I'll try it at this end. I do not enjoy this part. I have to get it right up to my face so I can see what I'm doing. There. I got the end. And I lost the end. I don't usually have this much trouble. There we go. This is coming loose from the spot, from the cover. This book is so old. I think it's from 1909. So if I have that much trouble with the paper part, I wonder what it's going to be like on that old chipboard. That's why I don't usually do this on camera. Seems like I struggle more with it when the camera's on. And I think some people just use Fabri-Tac or something instead of using the tape. But this is what I've always used and I'm comfortable with it. So I stick with it. I don't know how I would feel about just using glue to hold the book together. I might just use glue on this end because I'll put a little glue in the corner there because it pulled the tape up and folded it under. Well, it's not going to do any good because it's going to dry by the time I get to it. It's not going to stay sticky like tape does. I'm sorry, people, but this is real crafting. Yeah, this is wanting to pull up that chipboard. So this might be a good time to try using Fabri-Tac. Yeah, the adhesive is coming right up. So, Fabri-Tac it is. That old chipboard is just too old and pull-aparty. Let's put it that way. It's pull-aparty. So I'm using the lines on my mat here. I lined it up at the side and the bottom, and that way I make sure that everything is straight. And I will, not that, put my Fabri-Tac here. And put down my Tyvek. I did it. There's more of it on this side. Sorry. So I did it off center, so I'm going to just cut this extra piece off. As long as there's enough hanging over on both covers to hold it together, that's fine. So there we go. There's our cover. Getting notifications for something. Even if somebody repins one of my pins on Pinterest, I get a notification on that tablet. So it's either from Facebook Messenger or something, or Pinterest. Those are the sounds I get for those notifications. I never bother to go in there and change my settings, so it doesn't make that noise. I usually just keep my tablet in here so I can watch some videos while I'm crafting. Usually just listen to videos while I'm crafting. Okay, so, and this is pretty raw down here. You can see that will be exposed. So I will probably wrap something around there and maybe cover up the title. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I just want to show you how I'm constructing the covers, which I've done this before on video. So I have my paper or my fabric cut to the right width and the right height to wrap around. And I'm going to put on some of my Fabri-Tac. I actually use 3-in-1 by Beacon. Same company that makes Fabri-Tac, and as far as I know, it's the same type of glue. But for some reason, the 3-in-1 is a little bit cheaper. And you can get 3-in-1 at Walmart. I don't think I can get Fabri-Tac there. Make sure that this is not too long before I start gluing. I might want to trim just a titch off. It's a little uneven. So I'm going to put glue on the part that goes on the outside of the book cover. Whoops, I laid it down where I shouldn't have. I don't want to pull it too hard and stretch it, so I'll just smooth it out. It's getting gloppy. It's late in the evening. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's chiming 8 o'clock right now. So it's later than I normally do a video. But I had intended to do this video today, and then my son texted me and said he was going to run a few errands and then stop by to get some cookies that I had made and offered him. So I didn't start my video. I figured I'd wait till he left. And he stayed and talked for a good while, which was fine. I enjoy talking with him. We had a lot to talk about. And then it was, all of a sudden, it was 5:45, and we decided to go out for dinner because we can go to restaurants here in Pennsylvania now. So he went home, got his wife, his daughter, his nephew. Teddy was playing with Layla at her house today. And we went for dinner. Went to Collier's Barbecue. So I didn't get home till 7:30. And I got busy getting this video going. I lost my cap, so I'll just get my spare. So here we have the outside, and I will put some sort of trim. I could have cut that a little bit narrower, but it's okay because I'm going to cover that anyway. This is a Harrison Fisher illustration, by the way, and he was a very famous illustrator, and you see lots of his images in different digital kits on Etsy. I've seen some, I think, from Mrs. Coggs and also from the Old Design Shop. When I was on design team for the Old Design Shop. Is this where I wanted it? No, this is what I wanted. Okay, so I got her Harrison Fisher illustrations and did some journals with it. So I have some exciting news too for me as far as these illustrations and stuff go. I'm excited about it. I don't know if you will be, but I made digitals of these illustrations and the book covers, And hopefully, by the time these journals are ready to go in my shop, I will have the digitals in my shop. And other book covers too. I got out all of my gorgeous, these type of book covers and scanned them. Yeah, so that's going to be good. Now for these, I think my ATG tape will hold the paper to paper, but I will use some of my Fabri-Tac glue for this part that has to adhere to the fabric. Just said I was going to put some glue here. Normally there would be some red right here from the fabric that wraps around, but that got torn off. So that's why I want to wrap something around the bottom. I just didn't get far enough to select what I wanted to put there yet. And I can take the same, no, I have to make a different template because this is just slightly wider. There's my glue cap. So I'll make a new template that's 1 3/4 inches wide, but it will be basically the same. I hope I didn't lose my first one. Oh well, they're easy to make, but I'll probably find it here. So this is not a hollow back or rounded spine, and I will sew through the signature or through the spine, and I will put some trim on the outside. Let's do that right now. Let's find something pretty. Oh, I should have done, sorry, I got a pin. Should have done that wraparound before I glued the lace down. Oh well, I'll figure something out. It's already glued down there pretty good. I'll just trim a little bit off of that at the end again. Still a little long, but I'll wait for the glue to dry. I don't need to glue a trim here because the paper gives it a nice smooth edge. I usually only do that if I leave the end papers and then I just have a raw edge of fabric there. There's the second spine. So these are totally different spine techniques. So this one is also 1.5 inches. It's in better shape. It is a little worn here, but I will reinforce it like I did the other. But I don't have to do a rounded spine on it. This would have to be cut down, but I could just glue this in to the spine and then glue Tyvek over it. So this would stiffen up the spine and the Tyvek would reinforce this fold, and then I could sew the signatures in just like I normally do. Except I would put fabric over the Tyvek and then I would just sew it in like that. So I may do that. I don't know. I guess it all depends on how this goes. And hopefully I'll get that sewn in tonight. So I hope this was helpful. Just a variety of ways you can use vintage book covers to make a journal cover. A variety of techniques for creating a new spine, reinforcing a spine, etc. And then sewing in your signatures with a hidden spine, hidden signature, how do you call that? Hidden spine. And then this one will be exposed stitching. And this remains to be seen. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye.